And I just feel like, while it's good to plan for that and, prepare and scale your business, get on that holiday, I feel like you've still got to be very sort of, aware of what's happening around you at that present moment. You just got to take everything in.
Hey, I'm Ronja Sakata, founder of the Joy Academy and Queen of Joy. That's how my friends call me. It's so important to me that my life is full of joy and that I enjoy every moment, because I know how fast it could be over. We can do so many things to bring joy in our lives, to create joy, and that's what this podcast is all about. I talk with people and they tell me how they bring joy to their everyday life and how they create a life full of joy. So let's dive right in, and please tell me after the episode what your takeaway is from this talk. Welcome, Alec, from where are you now, right now in your car?
Hey, Ronja, I'm just in Wales right now, just sitting on the side of a nice little country road near Bunker.
For getting some signal, for connecting on Zoom, that's so cool. And we met online in Instagram, in the Instagram world, because I followed his wife and his awesome pictures of traveling and being in the UK. And now we finally met in person on Zoom, and hopefully this year in person. And I welcome you here on the Let's Create Joy podcast. And what I'm most interested in is, how do you create joy in your everyday life? And who are you? What do you do? Just, introduce yourself and let's get this started.
Oh, hey, Rona. Thank you very much for having me here. I'm very excited just to, finally be meeting you, finally be talking, which is great. And hopefully later in the year we will be actually meeting in person, which would be great. Hi, I'm Alec. I am a web developer at the moment, so I work under my own business, which I created, and it's called On the Road Coder. I've been doing that for about sort of like a year now. I just kind of decided, I used to actually work for about sort of 12 years or so in the military. And I just decided, I wanted a change of pace, change of life. And then got into sort of coding and decided, hey, this is feeding my OCD. It's feeding everything in terms of I could have a bit of freedom in life now. I can there's a few more options available to me. And that's kind of how I just quickly got into that, I suppose. So I now sort of I build websites for people. I get to meet some absolutely amazing clients from sort of all walks of life that do absolutely everything from sort of coaching people to doing sort of one of the recent clients that I managed to work for. They do energy healing sessions for people and things like that, and it's just really cool. It's really cool getting to meet these people and getting to understand what it is that they do. And it's just opened up a whole other world for me, which I never really sort of knew was there until I started diving into it. Right. That's kind of what I do. I just I go around and meet amazing people now, and then I go and say, hey, come on, let's go and build your website and show everybody else online and around the world exactly what it is that you do. We have a great time doing it, which is it's just part of the journey and it's fun. And I think for the most part, what sort of brings me joy, I think, other than obviously having that great sort of that new sort of that new work life that I've got and sort of built for myself. I think that the main thing for me that I do, I try to do all the time, is I just try to be in the present. I try to be very much about what's happening now, and what's going on from the very simplest of things, right? So I'm sitting here on the side of the road now, sort of talking to you now, and I'm just seeing it sounds silly, but honestly, it's I'm looking down a really lovely country lane. It's for greenery. You can see like, you know, the way that the sun's sort of coming through because it's not quite up yet. And yeah, and it's just taking in like your surroundings, taking everything in about like the now, and just feeling that energy, just feeling like, you know, taking it in, taking in the sights, and just being, yeah, just like that to me like makes me happy. It makes me like, I think, you know, it's very easy to make, it's very easy to make like plans in life and say like, look, we're going to go on, we're going to go on a holiday in like, you know, a couple of months time, or you know, in a year from now I'm going to sort of aim to grow my business for you know, to be at such a level, or scale it to such a level. And I think, you know, while these things are good, it's important not to just like say, like a lot of people say like, right, I will be happy when this happens, when I get to this stage, when I get to that holiday, when my business scales to this sort of level. And I just feel like, you know, while it's good to plan for that and you know, prepare and scale your business, get on that holiday, I feel like you've still got to be very sort of, you know, aware of what's happening around you at that present moment. You just got to take everything in. And like I say, it's like the simplest thing, like where I'm actually staying now. So I'm staying with friends in Wales, and it's like a really, really lovely place that we have. And like I'm really grateful for. I might as well quickly say thank you very much, Emma and Greg, for letting us stay with you. But yeah, like where we are now, I've seen like these little these swallows are flying all around this little place, and just above like our little doorway now, they've two of them have obviously sort of come down. They've made like a little nest, and when we got there, I saw that it was a nest, and I was trying to figure out like, oh, have they, you know, are there eggs in there, or have they just like left? And then I had a little sneak peek up there, and yeah, and it's just like there's like these 4 little eggs sitting in there, and I was like, oh, this is amazing, like getting like a quick video, sending it out all over Instagram to sort of try and share that to everybody else as well, as in like, look, this is really cool what's happening right now. There's like a little, like there's like a process of this new family about to enter the world, and like, you know, and I was like, right, I've got to share this with everybody and sort of like get it out there. And then yeah, and then like just I think it was maybe 2 days ago now, they, you know, they've hatched and everything's like there, and they're all like, you know, making their little tweety noises and things like that. It's just really cool. It's just like, you know, and that was just like a really nice journey that I was on there. And it was just like, you know, every day I was sort of like seeing these swallows coming in and prepping their food, prepping their nest. Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, I think it's very much, like I say, it's very much about just sort of being in the present, being very just grateful for what you have right now at this given moment, and sort of like looking around, taking everything in, and just being very happy for it.
That's so great. And it's wherever you go, you can do that. You can do that while you're in the queue for getting a ticket or sending a package. And you could be annoyed, stressed, whatever, or you can be like fully here and watch the other people and like think of what they're thinking, or you can be so present everywhere. That's really what I'm trying to do or doing too, and it makes everything more special. It doesn't matter if you're at the gorgeous place or at the normal place. If you see the little details in life, it's like wow, everywhere, wow. Even though
yeah, there was a lot of times. So like I mentioned before, so I used to be I used to be in the Royal Tank Regiment for the British Army, and yeah, there were a lot of times
that way all the time. Like, how did you get to that point? Because I think it's an art of thinking and the way of living, which is not taught in school, and that you have to be, I think, brought up this way, that this is how we do life, or otherwise you have to learn it later. When did you get to this point? Like in the military, did you think the same way already?
I think so, to an extent. Yeah, I think like, you know, like I said, like there were definitely points where I found myself to be like, I don't know, like a muddy puddle or something like that, and you're just thinking like, God, this is not great now. I'm like really really like soaked through and muddy, and like I just kind of want to be like around a nice warm fire or something, not out here in the dark and the rain and all the rest of it, right? So I think it's definitely something that comes from like within yourself. You need to like kind of find that person in yourself and kind of accept, like, look, you're here in that present moment, and just make the most of it. Like, you know, so for instance, when I'm out there in that rain, and it's like I'm absolutely soaked, and I've got to get on with like the next thing, whatever that may be.
It's 9 hours.
I could easily be very like, oh, this is so bad, miserable, and just sink into that like low level sort of vibes. But yeah, you just gotta you just gotta appreciate it. I've just gotta be like, I'll be like, hey, well, hopefully in a couple of hours I'll maybe be like out of the rain and trying to dry up again or something like that. Or I'll, when I was in them sort of situations, I normally sort of look at somebody else, that to try and catch their attention. They look back at me, and then we'd both be realizing like, yeah, this is quite rubbish, and then we'd just laugh about it. I don't know how that was a thing, but that's what you would do. You'd then try and find that connection with somebody as well that's in the same sort of boat as you, and yeah, and that'd be it. You'd just be laughing about like how rubbish that certain situation was, and then kind of find like happiness or joy in that, just from like connecting with somebody there. Yeah,
that's really like, if you imagine like Game Boy or whatever game online, that's like high level stuff you're talking about now. Are you aware of that? Like, I bluntly say 80% of all the people can't do that. They're in the mud or whatever circumstance, and just feeling sorry for themselves or complaining or just pissed off by this rubbish, and
yeah.
If you can reframe it, and like I always say, well, I'm alive. That's the best thing ever. Anyway, like if you go down to that, you can be grateful for that. As long as I'm breathing and my heart is beating, I'm so grateful because I like it here. And then everything is like leveled out into it doesn't matter so much where you are, but it's high level thinking and reframing. You could go into the coaching business like tomorrow. Really?
Yeah, maybe. Well, I don't know. Maybe we'll see what happens. But like, I think, I think that's a very good point. I think it's very much about like, sort of saying like, yeah, this is a bit of a pickle that I'm in right now, but I am still here. I'm living, I'm breathing. Thankfully, I'm very healthy. I personally haven't had health issues or like sort of disabilities that I've had to sort of like handle. So I'm very, very fortunate in that respect, and I think I definitely make the most of being aware of that, and being aware that I am able to be, I can just go and run for miles and miles, sort of thing, without having too much of a drama.
But that's what you trained yourself to do, and you're taking care of your body, and it's not like coincidence that you're healthy. Of course, like it's a lucky starting point if you're generally healthy, but then you could drink like 3 liters of vodka every day. You could, and then it wouldn't work out this way like soon after, I don't know, some weeks or month. Like the decision we are making for ourselves are so important in the everyday life, and they sum up, and they create your reality and your health and everything.
I think, yeah, you're right. Like there also like, there is a basis of how we are straight away, and then from there it's how we then choose to sort of respond or behave with what we have. So yeah, definitely in my circumstance, like I knew from a very sort of like early on age, the army was something I was going to do, and so like, I kind of got into that mindset of like, well, what do I need to do to sort of like get there, reach that level? And fitness was very much a part of that, so I would, my dad had like a little gym, sort of set up, multi-gym thing set up in the back garden, and so I would like use that, like say once or twice a week. I'd go for that run, and I'd sort of like, I just one week I randomly just said like, that's it, I'm going to start running. I'm going to go out, and end up doing like somewhere between like, I think it was like 6 miles or something in the end was the distance I was doing.
And how old
And
were you?
I was, I was about 15 at that point, maybe
Okay.
14, 15, something like that. And I just decided like that's it. I'm going to start getting serious about this now. And then, yeah, and it's just, it was like part of that was obviously making me, more healthy and more fitter. And so that was making me happier within myself, because like now I was also meeting people of like a similar mindset. I actually used to do like, cross country, competitions at one point, because of like my running took me there, sort of thing. I never really took it any more seriously than what it was, because I already had my mind sort of set towards joining the military, and my route was kind of already selected in what I was going to do. So I didn't really take up, cross country to like a professional level or anything like that. But I definitely started like entering races and of a weekend and things like that, just to kind of like, enjoy that, meet new people like that. And yeah, and it like I say, that definitely got me to like a good fitness level, and it definitely like made me, just feel more alive, feel more like, happy, I guess.
But now you said it again, like that brings me joy or that makes me joyful. Have you had a deciding moment, like somewhere in your life where you decided, like, I want to enjoy this here? Or was it always that way? Because that's so interesting. And I want to apologize before I said like 80% of all the people are not doing this. But look around, like there's so many angry or grumpy people. And I want to inspire everybody listening to really think about what do I want, and what do I want to change, what do I don't want anymore, and then create a life you just love. Like you're now on the road, and like this lifestyle, this laptop lifestyle, that's sounds so amazing, but it's not always easy. But your mindset is again key to just go step by step and build your business and trust that it will work out and everything. And it doesn't matter where you are in your life, but you can choose how you want to feel, how you want to do and create your day, and how you want to like step on this stage of life and interact with people. You can choose that any day. You can change, like, yeah, changing is too hard. Like, no, you can decide now and be nice or kinder in the next minute. It's not that you have to go to a course or something. You just decide. And it
No,
seems like you are in this mindset for so long, but did you have a moment where like, no, I don't do things like this, I do things like this?
yes. Yeah, I completely agree with you. So I've had this moment. So basically, like the last 4 years of my military, career, like starting from like that first year of the last four, there was a point where, I mean, I won't go into it, but there were a couple of changes that the military made, and I just kind of looked at it all and I thought, right, this isn't for me. It doesn't suit me anymore. Um, I you kind of go into the military knowing that there are restrictions on you anyway, and so you have to kind of just accept that and get on with it, right? And yeah, but these sudden changes that happened, I just like I mean, the first time it happened, I mean, I was very much like down about it. I almost like I was throwing my sort of toys out the pram. I was just like not happy with what was going on, and I easily could have just said like, right, that's enough, and kind of like left there and then. But I kind of like, I sat down with my wife, and we had like a very lengthy talk about what I wasn't happy with, what I wanted to change, what I wanted to get out of life, what I wanted to do. And and we decided, right, look, well, let's write all this down. Let's make this plan, and then we'll try and just work towards it, try and push towards it. And so basically, the start of that plan for me was finishing at a set point within my military career. So not leaving there and then, pushing for a further 4 years, because actually, with our life goals that we just said out loud what we wanted to do, that made sense. It made sense financially, just logistically. It was all in alignment almost, just to leave, do another 4 years, then leave. And so yeah, so for ages as well, like it must have taken me maybe, I gotta say at least like 2 years of it, trying to figure out, well, what the hell am I gonna do? Because like all I've ever done is military. Like that's what I wanted to do, it's what I set myself up for, and now I'm trying to figure out like the new thing. And then yeah, and it just, for me, it was kind of just by, just kind of going with the flow, letting things come to me naturally, of how I then stumbled across my new career path in coding. And when I first heard about this, it was kind of like, people that do this sort of job, they tend to go into employment first because you got that security again and all the rest of it. And it was like, they'd be sitting behind like desks in offices and things like that. And I was like, no, I just can't. I can't do that. I can't go from like some sort of physical outdoor career to then suddenly sitting behind like a desk. That's just not me. That's not who I am. But then I realized, actually I can turn this on its head. I can, if I learn how to code, how to do certain programming languages, and get me sort of kick-started, then what I could do is I could, all I essentially need is my laptop and my Wi-Fi, and then that's me. I could actually be like anywhere that I choose to be, anywhere that I want to be. And I knew right from the get-go, like it's not going to be easy doing that. Like I'm going to have to put in like extra hours to work. I'm going to have to like put extra hours into like sort of like making sure I'm studying the right thing. And yeah, like, and even right now, so I've left the military less than a year ago, so just November just gone. And even now, it's still, it's still very much a very steep learning curve of trying to, take things on, trying to learn the right thing, trying to, for me now, it's like trying about finding clients and things like that. That's a whole new ball game. But it's about like for me, it's like getting your mindset right, like knowing that like just anything is possible if you put your mind to it and you push yourself and you work hard at whatever that thing is, then you can make it work. You can make it work for you. And that's exactly what is happening right now. Like, I'm out of the military. I'm now working. I'm now able to sort of be where I want to be with my wife. I'm able to spend more time with her. I'm able to spend more time with my, we call ourselves a pack rather than a family, because I have two huskies. And so I'm able to spend like more time with them, which it's just great. We just like, we just live how we want to. And we now plan ahead for saying like, right, this is going to be like our next little trip or our next little adventure sort of thing, but it definitely comes down to like, you need to work hard. You need to put in that effort. Yeah. And just have that belief as well. Have that belief that you can get there. You can do whatever it is that you want to do. You just got to have that belief and have that drive and that determination to go and do it, right?
And while doing all this, being present in the moment, that's so powerful. Because wherever you are, how far ahead you are, if you're happy and grateful in the present moment, that you're so abundant of good feelings. And of course you have the drive, of course you have the goal, but it's now. And if you can create now moments, amazing now moments, then you win life. That's really what I feel nearly all day long. Like the little things.
It's a great feeling to have. Like
Yeah.
I'll tell you a story now. So my sister, so she, I think it was about a year or two ago now, and she was just going through a bit of a rough patch in terms of she wasn't very happy of where she was kind of living. She wasn't too happy about how her job was going. She just didn't feel heard at work. That the place where she did live was, a little bit tiny and things like that. And she didn't exactly reach out to me. It was just like a conversation we had, and I realized this was going on for her. And I literally, we just kind of talked about it, and I said, like, do you know what you need to do? What you need to do right now is you need to just like appreciate what you have around you. You have a great fiance there, who I absolutely love. I think he's a great bloke. You've got him. You've got family just around the corner that you can go and see whenever you want to. And I said, like, and you need to then just do little things that are making you turn that situation on its head. So when you're going to work in the morning, you get to go on like a fun train journey. You get to go there and stand on that platform, feel the fresh air, like, see everybody going about their little lives and wondering like, oh, I wonder what they're doing today, or like, see their little stories and stuff. And then, you get to go to work, you get to meet these people and like chat with them. And then you then come home at the end of the day and then just go for like, go see the family around the corner and chat with them, or go for like a walk on the route that you haven't taken before, and just appreciate everything that is around where you are right now. And like, fast forward like a year later sort of thing, and she's now sort of moved into a bigger house. She's been heard at a job, and rightly so, because she's a very like assertive, driven person in herself. And she's she's got that pay rise and everything. And she just sort of said to me at some point along the line of saying like thank you for that advice, because it helped her just to kind of like appreciate little things that were around her. And just like she said, yeah, it is silly, but she hadn't thought of that before. And yet now that she suddenly started taking all that in, her and her fiance were really happy, and they were just like they were going up in their happiness levels almost, and their vibes were getting better, and they just appreciated what they had at that time. And I think that is then what helped them to then, sort of like with that drive and with that happiness, it managed to get them to like the next level. It managed to get them that new nice house that they're in right now. And like I haven't actually seen it, which is really sad, because like we're still in the COVID restrictions right now. So annoyingly, all I've had to do is sort of stand outside the window and like wave to them. But the house looks great from the outside, so I think it's probably great on the inside too. But yeah, and I think that's what it is. I think it's like I say, I'm very much about just enjoying what it is around you, there and then, being in the present, and then that allows you to have and find that happiness, which will then, that's just like the core, the very core, the very basis of what gets you going. And if you're able to do that, then that just, you could take on the world. You can take on the world, that feeling, right?
And you're not postponing your happiness to when you reached that goal, and that's so empowering. It's not like,
Yeah.
oh well, I don't know if I get there, and I'll be happy when I get there, so I'm not happy now. That's so like and the other way around. It's so good to be aware of that. But what do you do if you are you having some grumpy days at all, or not at all? Like you're just not, you don't know what that is, or if you're grumpy, or if you're like, today is a shitty day. Do you have that? And what do you do if you have that?
Honestly, like, yeah, I'd love to say that I wasn't like a grumpy person, but I so can be. And like my wife she'll pick me up on it straight away, sort of thing. Yeah, she says that I have like a very I'm very heavy with my energy, which is great when I'm up and I'm upbeat and like, you know, I'm energetic and all the rest of it. But yeah, when I have my grumpy days, like everybody knows about it. I'm just, it is, I do. And so the way that I tend to try and snap myself out of it, because it's not great being stuck in that energy. And all it does is it makes me feel worse. It makes me feel like more down, concentrating on that energy. And then so therefore what it does is it starts to affect everybody else around you, right? So the way that I try to deal with it is first is I just kind of accept that it's there. I just kind of go like, right, look, I'm grumpy. I'm allowed to be grumpy. I'm allowed to, that's just a natural feeling that everybody's allowed and entitled to feel. So I just kind of make peace of it. I accept that I'm in that grumpy state. And then from there, I kind of tell myself, well, look, don't get more grumpy about being grumpy. That's just not going to go well for anybody. So just kind of like, yeah, you've made your peace. Don't get any worse. And now just try and do something. Try and like, I don't know, like do something that works for you, that makes you happy. So for me, it's like, you know, something very simple. Like I'll take my two huskies out for a walk. You know, that's one of the great things about, I suppose, having a dog, is they just accept you no matter what you are, whatever state you're in, right? So for them, I know they're not going to get annoyed at me being annoyed, so they're just going to be happy with me like walking around and going whatever, right? So you know, in that respect, I'm lucky that I have that. But otherwise, yeah, just do something like, I don't know, like listen to music that makes you feel better about, you know, how you're feeling, and brings you back up and turns that feeling on its head. Go for like a long walk. If you're that in a state, I don't know, like turn the telly on and watch something that's like makes you feel better, sort of thing. You know, just that short period of time, so that it's all gonna turn itself on a head. And I find that works for me. I find it does. I find, like, you know, if I go for that walk, if I go for that run, it definitely changes my mood, because I feel like, again, like I say, I'm very much about the present. So if I'm going for a run or I'm going for a walk, when I'm on that, I'm not just like going on these runs or going on these walks like blindly. I start to take things in that's around me. Like I take in like what the weather's like what I can hear around me from nature, and or if I'm not in nature and I'm walking through a town and I'm listening to like I don't know, like car engines and things like that, just random things that are like taking my mind off the grumpy present, and sort of like listening to what's going around to change my mood. And I find that works. I find that does work for me. It just like, yeah, it's just kind of like focusing my mind on something else and just kind of like going, right, cool. Don't, like, it's cool to be grumpy. Don't worry about that. Accept that. Go for a walk. Just take in everything else and think about something else. And that tends to work. That does tend to work for me.
And is it like a gradual change of the feeling, or like, okay, now I'm back? Thank you
It's
very
definitely
much.
gradual. It's
Okay.
definitely gradual. It's not. Again, I'd love for it just to be able to like click your fingers and that's it. It's gone. Like it's definitely like, you know, I have to take like a long walk or a long run, but yeah, like it's definitely, you know, it's not something that just goes away like that. You know, it's especially when you're in like these heavy moods. Like they're called heavy for a reason, because they weigh upon you, and they're hard to get rid of. You know. And so, yes, it's just a case of like the heavier it is and the longer the walk you got to take, sort of thing. And like,
Because you know,
and that's
in
it.
English, this term "snap yourself out of it." I love that. We don't have this term in German, so
Okay.
like this snap is so short. So I was curious how fast you get yourself out of it. But
No, unfortunately, it doesn't work for me. But yeah.
I really love how you say that, because it's not like, don't judge yourself that this emotion is here. Also, if I'm sad or if I'm angry or whatever, don't push it down or away. It will jump back at you later. But if you go through and like, yeah, well, I'm sad now, maybe tears are streaming down your face, so what? And on the other side there, you can sort things out again, or think of So what do I need now? What do I want now? And then go from there. But when people, on Facebook now, because of COVID, it changed a little bit, but like Sunday evening, all these posts like, Monday morning, Monday, 5 shitty days ahead, and Friday, it's like celebrating that the weekend is ahead, and Sunday evening, it's the same. I'm like, how can you throw away 5 days of your week? I really can't believe that you can do that, because, I'm repeating myself all the time, but my friends started to die when I was 17. Like, I know how fast, and it was always like, avalanche, car accident, bike accident. It was not an illness where you had the chance to say goodbye or talk things through. It was just like this. So it matters to me how I talk to you. It matters to me how I said goodbye to my girl this morning. I would never ever say goodbye, or don't say goodbye because we had a fight or something. It's not possible, because if that would be if that would have been the last time I saw this person, I would be crushed. Like, it's so important. Everything is important. So Monday morning is important, and Monday afternoon, and you can create an amazing day. And don't put it into the garbage can just because you have to go to work. Change something. Go on the road and code. It's I know that not everybody wants to do that, and not everybody is aiming for like sitting behind a desk. That's just, some people love that, and that's totally okay. But please work something, or in a surrounding where you feel comfortable and you can put out your talents and enjoy your time. And I know that's not the reality for so many people. And you transitioned from the army, which you chose to be there. You weren't trapped in a job you hated, and how did I why am I here? But what would be your advice for people now sitting at the desk and just hating what they're doing? Like, what would you tell them?
I think you hit it on the head there, where you said, like, with where you were very young and you've lost friends. Like, I too, obviously being from the military, I lost some very good friends, and in fact, in all of them cases, it wasn't like a situation where you'd think it was a norm, in terms of like, we've gone on operations, we've gone to a different country, and you kind of expect that sort of stuff to sadly happen. Actually, in all of them cases, it wasn't that at all. It was just sort of like sad different incidents that happened back over here, back in the UK. And yeah, and see, you're very right. It's a case of like, at any given moment, something could completely change and turn your life in a different direction, and bring like complete loss, complete sadness that you just didn't expect. And so it's so important to like be not going into work on a Monday and post on Instagram like, oh my god, like, it's only Monday and I've got this amount of work to do and things like that. You've got to find that energy right from the get-go when you wake up. It's like, so for me, when I wake up, the first thing I'm very lucky to have is this beautiful wife next to me, and I take that in straight away, and I'm like, oh, look at this amazing golden hair everywhere. And then the next
so
thing
beautiful.
but I'm very lucky to have that. And then the next thing is, I'm walking downstairs, and I have these, I call them my little wolves, but I have my two huskies down there, and straight away, like they get up, they do their little sort of like downward facing dog yoga poses, and their tails are wagging. And I'm just like, I'm feeding into that energy that they're giving me. I'm, like saying, oh, how great it is to meet you right now. And like, hey, what do you want to do? Should we go on a walk? And they're spinning, doing 360s, and like, yeah, come on in, let's do it. And, whatever your routine is in the morning, you just gotta, you gotta find that thing that makes you happy, whether it's been like, I don't know, like turn on loud music in the shower, or something as simple as that can just get your mindset from the get-go, first thing, like, cool, I'm gonna have a good day, this is gonna be a good day, sort of thing. And for me, with like, Instagram is such a great social media platform that I found a lot of happiness with, in terms of being able to meet new people, and connect with people. And so that way I kind of try and use it for the good. So I will, like sometimes I'll post like a very silly thing on my stories, which is like, right, I'm about to have like a power hour. What music should I listen to? And I try and engage with people like that. And then like I'll literally, whatever comes through first. It doesn't matter like how random this genre is. Like, you know, whether I like it, whether I don't. I'm like, right, cool. This is what's happened. This is what I'm going to listen to, and I'll just listen to that for like the hour. So they, it might be like something horrendous that isn't like in my vibe. It could be like Spice Girls or something, and I'm just like, oh my god. So, but I'll go with it. I'll just go what's been chosen, right? Because then I can just laugh about it. I can be laughing about it, going like, I'm listening to something that's completely not in line with what I am. But hey, we're going with the flow here, and yeah, and trying to, yeah. So like I said, just don't post that thing of like, oh, it's already Monday and I've got all this stuff. Post something that's like, I don't know, just like, you know, what's everyone else doing? Pull like a silly face and just post that out there, because that's funny for you, for one, to pull this ridiculous face, and it's funny for everybody else as well to see it. And it's just like, yeah, just do something that, one, primes yourself in the morning, sets up that good mood straight away, and then secondly, when you're there, when you're suddenly met with that first block of like, oh my god, look at all this that I've got to deal with now, turn it on its head. To like, just, you know, like post something that's like funny for you, funny for everybody else, and that's exactly how you're going to spread that happiness, how you're going to create that happiness for yourself, and then how you're going to go and spread it for everybody else too.
And then like lunch break and you're exhausted and you just hate what you do, what would you, like, if I would be open to listen to you, maybe I just want to stay in my shitty job forever, but maybe I want to change something, what would you say? What's your advice?
It's the same again, like you said there. So like, just because an office, working in an office environment doesn't work for me, doesn't mean that it doesn't work for other people, right? So, you know, it's being like, realizing like, you know, right, I'm in this situation, and right, I'm on my lunch break now, and something else has happened, something like, you know, something's kind of like, my boss has just given me like an extra ton of work, which is worth like 2 days, but I got to get it done this afternoon or something like that. I don't know, right? For me personally, if I was in that situation right now, the first thing I do is, when something, because I have been in situations, even now, but back in the past, where like something would suddenly get, like a big workload would suddenly get dumped on me, and I just laugh. I just like, I don't know what it is. Like, I just laugh about it, because I feel like, and don't get me wrong, part of it is a sarcastic laugh, but at the same time, that actually makes me laugh, because I'm just like, this is ridiculous. How can you expect people to kind of like get on with this workload right now? And yeah, just kind of like laugh it off. If you need to, like, for me, like, I used to, I don't know, just try and get that blood running around my body again. So I don't know, do something silly, like do a couple like press ups or like some jumping jacks on the spot or something, or start like punching the air, just trying to get that blood flowing, and just go like, right, cool, let's just do it, and we'll see how far we can get with it. Like, you know, we'll try and get on. Yeah, it's just, I think the most part is when there's something that you're just like not happy with, you know, it's, treat it as it's just a silly thing, and then do something silly to counteract that, and that usually will kind of like turn it on its head, right? So if you just see it as like, oh, this, you know what, this is something that's not, this particular thing right now isn't bringing me joy, but like, let's see it as silly, I'll react silly, and then that then turns it on its head, and suddenly like that's bringing the happiness out, and that's bringing like happiness to everybody else around me as well.
Yeah, just do it, or speak up and say, come on, that's just not possible, I can't do that. And I was just for once, no, twice, I worked in a real like big company, and everybody was complaining, and what I really don't like is complaining. Like, either you are angry, and that's okay, or sad, that's okay, but complaining is like such a weak place to be. Just change something or change your attitude, but complaining is like, oh yeah. Not helpful at all. That's also with my child. I don't like moaning and complaining. I like you say what you want and then we figure it out or something like that. So you're at this workplace and maybe you can change the whole mood of the whole office because you choose to, you know, like
Yes.
maybe you make an official announcement next morning, like, people, that's not going to work in here. We need more energy. Or if you don't want to do that, you just do it quietly, like a virus.
Yeah.
Really, like in secret, you're sneaking in joyful little moments or post it. You know, yeah, that's just what I know. You know, the war of the office fridge, like who took my yogurt, and then
Oh God.
nasty comments. Either you run away from there and look for a better job in a nice team, or you say, come on, people, let's not have war in this office. It's just not
Yeah.
cool. It's
I,
not
I,
fun.
yeah, I think like, you know, I mean, I'm talking from what I've said so far is like how you can react to a current situation. I think, you know, especially when you're working in an environment where there's other people around, you know, everybody's got their own stuff going on, right? Like they're in their own like little worlds, and then all of a sudden they're all coming together into this world that you're all in now, right? So there's only so much and so far that you can, you know, try these little techniques. Like you can be silly, you can post that silly face on Instagram and try and make yourself happy. Like if it like unfortunately sometimes it does get to a point where there's just, you know, that all these methods, they're just not working anymore. They're not, you know, you're still in this place where look, you tried putting that silly face, you tried doing these like punch in the air and all the rest of it, and you know, there's just something not right. And I think if you find yourself in that, if you find yourself in that situation, you need to, you know, expect. This is what I did. I found myself in a situation where I just wasn't happy anymore. I wasn't happy with what was going on. I wasn't happy with, you know, how that then affected my potential future, how it affected my current status now. And yeah, and like I said, I did. I threw my toys out the pram. I wasn't happy, and it didn't matter what silly phase or how many jumping jacks or how many runs I went on. Nothing was going to change that. So it, you know, so I sat down and I just looked at everything that I just wanted to do. What did I want out of life? What did I want to like sort of achieve at a very basic level? I wasn't, you know, I wasn't saying, as nice as it is, I wasn't saying like I want to be a billionaire. That's what I want to be. Like, you know, it'd be nice to be that, obviously, but I was just putting down very basic things. What I want, right? I want more happiness. I want more freedom. I want more time with my family. I want to be with all of them. You know, I want things to be more on my terms rather than on somebody else's terms and things like that. And then it was from there, then I was able to, like I say, then like I let things, I made a very basic plan, and then I let things sort of like come my way and happen, and they did. And this is where I am now. And so, yeah, I think, yeah, if you're in that situation where you're suddenly like, right, the little techniques, they're just not working anymore. Like, you know, this environment that I'm in with all these other people in their own little worlds, like, you know, I've tried doing that, standing up and announcing something in the office saying, hey, this energy is not good, we need to do something right now. Like we all need to like have like a happy half hour of like chatting about something, or chucking a ball around the office to see like how long we can keep going or something silly like that. It's just not working. Like I'm still in the same place. Well, now, you know, it's not actually being selfish, it's looking after number one so that you can have that happiness and then spread that to everybody else as well. So you need to have that sit down, you need to look at what is it that you want to do? What do you want to achieve in life? What do you want to get out of life at a very basic level? Then the next thing is, right, well, how do I go about doing that right now? How do I set that plan out? How do I go and, you know, get that freedom, get that like that better workplace? How do I get like, you know, whatever it is that you want, you gotta you know, believe that you can get it first and foremost. And then, yeah, then sit down and think, right, what is it that I want? And then just plan to go and get that, write them goals down, and plan how you're going to go and get them goals, because that is right there on a bit of paper. That is what's going to make you happy, and that's what you got to aim for. You can't sit in the same place. There's the saying, isn't it, that if you change nothing, then nothing changes, and so you will just be in the same place. So write the notes down on that paper that you want, and then go and get them. Go and chase them goals that you've just put on that bit of paper, because that right there that you're staring at, that isn't just goals, that is your happiness. So go and get it.
And start by being appreciative of your current situation, and then you're even quicker to get there. That's what you mentioned in the beginning. I think that's really a magic trick for speed.
I think so, yeah. I think it's very, like, obviously every circumstance is different. I think it can be a tough journey. I mean, mine personally was, it was quite tough. I had a couple of sort of hiccups, we'll call them, along the way within them 4 years. But it's, yeah, you just got to you just got to appreciate what's around you at the time, and then have your mindset on them goals as well, of like what's making you happy, and just keep always pushing, always driving towards that happiness goal, and towards that, like, that next thing, and hopefully it'll be a smooth journey for you.
Yeah, like I know I followed you since you were still in the army, and like having a good goodbye, you decided to leave, but you're not like just walk away without saying goodbye, like having a celebration or whatever, like making it a change point in a good way. Like, I said goodbye, I made things right, or just it was a good goodbye, and then you can start with good feelings and not being like like that was bad, and they didn't treat me right. Like, if you again create it yourself and choose how you want to transition through or out of something, whatever job or even relationship, like, be kind and nice and making it a good thing, then you can enjoy the next step even more, and you don't have to feel like bad about how it happened that you're now not there anymore, but like still in the thoughts you're still going through, like
No, completely. It's like, like the main thing there is, like, what we're talking about is not holding like grudges or having like resentment for, things that have happened. Like, I could very easily look back at like what happened during them last 4 years and what happened at the very beginning of them 4 years of me deciding, right, I'm now leaving the military, sort of thing. And I could very easily just say, like, I'm not happy with this. I can't believe that happened. And really hold them grudges, really hold on to that and resent what happened. But it doesn't, that wouldn't make me happy doing that. So like, why would I hold on to that? And not only that, it's like, I personally, in life, when I go through it, I don't want to burn bridges. I don't want to, completely turn my back on things, like, so, what happened. And I'm now sort of like, I'm just looking forward. I'm always very grateful for what I had and the experience that I gained, the friends that I made within the military. That was a great part of my life. It really was. And I say, like, I kind of make it sound like the last 4 years were miserable. They weren't miserable at all. Like, I had some great memories that I made. I ended up going back, like, for instance, like, one of the very last sort of tasks I did was going out on exercises out in Oman. So that, that was a really cool experience, going out into like another part of the world, seeing a bit of the desert and things, and just being very, in the moment, in the present of that, which is really cool. But you're right. When I left, it definitely wasn't a case of like, right, I'm done with that, and that's me now. Now I can go enjoy my life. It wasn't that at all. It was very much like, it was very much a difficult decision to have made the 4 years previous, and then on the actual day of it happening, it was still very, very hard to just walk away and leave. And the main sort of like tradition within the military, or especially within my within the tank regiment there, the norm is to sort of like, you know, you'll just go have a very big night out on the town, and everyone will be like very merry, very silly, and just enjoying it and saying their goodbyes, probably crying and all the rest of it, right? But yeah, for me, I didn't really want to do that. I wanted to have a way of actually just giving back to them that had made me happy, that had like supported me through things. So for me, it was very much about like, I really enjoy barbecuing. I enjoy doing a bit serious barbecue, not like an English barbecue with just your burgers and your sausages. I do very serious, like, you know, smoking briskets and all sorts, and that's what I did. I arranged for a day for the squadron that I was in to be able to like not get the day off early off of work, and we were able to just hang outside the block, and in the block where the squadron are, at the bottom of the block, there's a bar, which is just, you know, where people used to hang out and that, and have like a little drink up. And that's where we had it. We just had like, you know, a couple of drinks. We had my brisket off and going, and I sort of got it out once it was ready and cut it up. So we just had a whole day of, you know, kind of doing something that I enjoyed, which was my barbecuing and just like drinking and being with, you know, good people. And yeah, and just giving that little experience back to them. And, you know, then at the end, I was able to sort of, my squadron leader gave me the chance to sort of speak to everybody at the end there and sort of say like my little like goodbye and things like that. And it was a bit emotional. It was a bit emotional having to kind of stay. I think it was probably good that I had a few beers in me, and it was just like, yeah. And I very much in that moment, like I still feel it now. I was very much in that present moment of saying like, you know, holy crap, like this is happening now. I am leaving, like I'm off, and it's just a very surreal but very real moment. And it was yeah, there was a lot of emotions there. I think I was very nervous to be like moving in something new. I think I was very sad to be leaving what I was leaving, and sort of not. I knew I wasn't going to be in that great working environment anymore. Yeah, but also a bit of like excitement for what was about to happen, sort of thing. You know, I was very much aware of like, well, I made the decisions to move on to the next chapter, and yeah, it's just like, yeah, it was a very, very, very surreal, very emotional time. But I definitely haven't got on in a way of like holding on to grudges, having a load of resentment built up in me. I very much respect what happened and why that made me decide to leave, and I've just accepted that was something that was.
Nice.
And just be grateful for what I had, be grateful for the people that I've met, and on I go into the next chapter.
And the next chapter will be another hour to talk about, but
It would be.
you better follow Alec on Instagram and follow his journey everywhere. So where can people find you? I'm always a little jealous because your wonderful wife is a photographer, a professional. So your pictures on Instagram are just so beautiful and so cool. So
She is incredibly talented. Yeah.
super worth following you, even like just for your eyes and what you have to say, and like the little the bird's name in English, the swallows. You know, I showed the video to Mika, and she was like, oh, so it's inspiring. I love social media for that. Like, you can spread joy and happiness and inspiration in little ways. And yeah, you better follow Mr. Penney, and please tell us where we can find you.
So yes, so my handle is just at On The Road Coder is where you can find me. And yeah, I definitely try to use my Instagram for good. I've met some great people on there, including yourself, Rhoda. And it's just like I do. I try to make like a funny story about what's happening. If I see something cool that's happening in a day, I try not just to keep that to myself, but to spread that to everybody else, to try and like spread that happiness, make sure everybody else is having like a great day and whatnot.
And
And
scrolling
I
through
think
your
that's what it's
feed
all about.
and looking what the next chapter was and what the next chapter will be. That's totally it's just the nicest movie. I don't spoil it. Just check
Thank
out.
you very much.
And if I want to have you build my website, where can I find you?
Okay, so again, my at the moment I'm taking like a bit of a new approach to how I'm doing things. So you can still reach me at www.ontheroadcoder.com, and there is a being able to just quickly click on the little email icon, and you can reach out to me that way and just ask me about whatever it is that you do and whatever it is, and we can have like a fun journey doing that.
Perfect. Thank you so much for this talk. It was so inspirational, and it's just good to hear all these points of views from different angles and different, like this international connection that makes me so happy, all these strings around the planet. And thank you so much for your time, for your energy, and for your wisdom.
Right, thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate being here.
Happy day to you in Wales, and bye-bye to everyone else. Thank you. Bye-bye. If you liked this episode, I look forward to a review from you, and it would be so nice to hear from you what you liked best and what is your takeaway, and maybe it sparked some idea. You really are surprised to have this idea now, and you can go and create joy for your life. And please tell me about it. I would love to hear from you. My contact details, you will find them in the show notes. Have a wonderful day.